Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Monica and I am so happy that you clicked on today's video because today we are talking about perimenopause. And I am so excited about this topic because that is the stage of life that I am in. And if you clicked on this video, then you are probably going through perimenopause or menopause yourself, or you're approaching that stage and you're just trying to soak up all the information you can get. Luckily for us, in this day and age, there is so much more information out there, and we have an abundance of doctors and professionals that are teaching us so much on social media. But I am not coming to you today as a professional or an expert in anything. I am just a regular, everyday woman who has found certain things that I can do in life to help me thrive. Because one thing I do not want to spend my midlife years doing is just surviving. I really want to thrive through this stage of life and beyond. And so I have 8 tips that I want to share with you that have helped me in my everyday life, and I think they can help you too. So before I give you tip number 1, I should add in quickly that none of the tips I'm going to give you are quick fixes, because we're just not in the quick fix stage of life anymore. We are in this for the long haul, and we need to incorporate things in our life, healthy habits that we can take with us midlife and beyond. And that's the only way to be successful, I believe. The only way to be successful in perimenopause is to ditch the quick fixes and get real about what we actually need at this stage of life. So, my first tip is that we need to be moving all day. Don't get scared. I don't mean exercise all day. I just mean moving all day. We're too sedentary. We sit at desk jobs. We leave work. We look at our watch. We realize we barely have 3,000 steps. And the day's, half or 3/4 over. So we need to find ways to get up, get moving, even if it's just walking around the office. But what I did was create a step goal for myself, because I had a tendency to think that just because I had an exercise class that day, that checked the box for my movement. And that's just not enough, because we need to be walking. And I set a step goal for myself for 10,000 steps. Now, your step goal could be more than that. Your step goal could be less than that. It depends on the stage of life that you're in and the health that you're in currently. Are you still trying to get healthy? Are you working up to that? That's fine. Set a step goal that is attainable, but that's going to take you a little work to get to. It's not going to be easy, because the more you move your body, you're going to start feeling better. I promise you. I find that during the summer months, I walk way less because it's just too hot outside. I forget I have a walking pad. The kids are out of school, we're off routine, and I just don't walk daily. And after a month of not getting my daily walks in, my body feels different, and not in a good way. And then once I get my walking back in track, all of a sudden I feel so much better, when that's the only change that I made. So I highly recommend that you create a step goal for yourself that you try to reach every day, that you really work hard to reach. And also, if that is your only form of exercise, that's okay. But start working up to adding in some other things as well, like strength training. But don't overwhelm yourself at the beginning. Just move your body more. And once you start feeling a lot better, you'll be ready to incorporate some other things as well. Tip number 2 is to have a morning and an evening routine. Now, when my girls were small, my husband and I would get the kids in bed, and by 7:30, 7:45, I would be collapsing on the couch, falling asleep. My husband would be shaking me at 9 p.m. to go to bed. I would go in the bathroom, do some sort of routine, half asleep, and collapse into bed. But that is not the stage of life that I'm in anymore. I'm not in survival mode with small children. So now, when dinner's done and the kitchen is cleaned up, I go to my bathroom and I take my shower and I do my night routine with all my creams and all of that, which I enjoy. Get yourself some products that you enjoy, and then you will look forward to it. And then I can scroll, read whatever I want to do, and go to bed at a decent time. I shoot for 9:15 every night because my alarm goes off at 5:15 in the morning. And you may be saying, that's never going to happen for me. I'm never getting up in the morning that early. Okay, that's fine. What time could you get up that would make your morning go a little smoother? Maybe you currently get up at 6:45, but you would love to get up a little bit earlier so that you can make a healthy protein breakfast for yourself before you have to leave the house. So maybe you can start getting up 10 to 15 minutes earlier every day until you get to that, say, 6 a.m. wake up time. And once you're able to do that and you see how helpful it can be to get up a little bit earlier, you may have a lot easier time doing that. Now, I know in this stage of life, one of the biggest issues that women have is getting terrible sleep. The 2 a.m. wake up was my number one symptom. The first thing I dealt with perimenopause was the terrible sleep, and I couldn't take it anymore. So I went to my healthcare professional and I said, this isn't working. So I actually take progesterone to help me get sleep at night, and it has made a world of difference. But whether or not you choose to go the HRT route, I still recommend having a morning and evening routine. And there are things you can possibly take as supplements to help you. I just highly suggest you do some research, talk to your healthcare provider, and figure out what would be best for you to help you sleep at night, because you need restful sleep. And once I was able to sleep past that 2, 3 a.m. and get a full night's sleep, then getting up was not nearly as difficult. And I do find that when I get up before my kids, I get my day moving, I have a lot more of a successful day. But so much of that is going to be dependent on the sleep that you're getting. So I highly recommend you take care of that if it is an issue for you. Tip number 3 is to pre-plan, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you need to look and see, what are you eating this week? Where are you fitting in exercise? I've been going to the same gym classes for 2.5 years, but I still sit down every weekend. I look at my week, I see what I can attend, and I schedule it. And once I schedule it, it's a commitment to myself. I do not cancel unless an emergency comes up. And that is a non-negotiable for me. And then I sit down and I plan dinners for the week for my family. Then I look and see, what can I make for lunches and breakfasts? I can whip up some overnight oats for the next couple of days, easy grab and go in the morning. What do I want to eat for lunch that's high protein? And you just set yourself up so that each morning you can be successful with your day. Grab your lunches, go, whatever you decide to do. But no matter what, you need to pre-plan. Some weeks you're able to plan a little bit more than others, but just do your best. I know that when I come back from a trip and we don't get back till Sunday night and Monday morning rolls around, I usually have a pretty rocky week, especially when it comes to food, because we are just living in survival mode. So I try to limit the survival mode weeks as much as possible and plan it out so that I can have success. Tip number 4 is to embrace the stage of life you're in without bitterness. I follow Dr. Mary Claire Haver on Instagram. She's amazing. I'm sure you follow her too. She is a wealth of information. And she said something the other day. She posted a quote that really stuck with me. And she said, your body changes in menopause, and so should your habits. And that is so true. You cannot live at 46 the way you lived at 26. Saying that when you were in your 20s you could eat anything you wanted and never gain a pound, it doesn't matter. That stage of life is done, and you are in a new stage of life with many wonderful benefits as well, but you have to embrace that. So, for me, that's embracing the fact that I wear a weighted vest when I walk, that I'm worried about my protein goals and my fiber goals, and that I need to get plenty of rest, and I need to follow, a lifestyle that is going to benefit me in my 40s, not in my 20s. And that's okay. And I'm not going to be bitter about it, because I like the age I am now, and I'm proud to have made it this far, and I want to make it many, many more years. And to do that, I have to change some of my habits. And once we can embrace that and do it with more optimism instead of always thinking back to how we used to be able to live life, I think we'll have a much better attitude and we'll be able to approach it in a better way. Tip number 5 is to practice self love. And I know this sounds cheesy, but it's so true. We need to stop focusing on the body parts that we don't like, on the things we don't like, and remember that our body has gotten us through some amazing things, some hard times in life, and it deserves your love and appreciation. So just remember that as we walk through this journey, as we're trying to improve ourselves, don't forget to just stop and love yourself for exactly the way you are at this moment. And you are worthy and you are amazing and you have wonderful qualities that you bring to the world. So don't forget that. Tip number 6 is to prioritize when life gets stressful. So maybe you don't have time in your life right now to have a long list of goals and things that you're trying to do, but you can do a top 3. Make a top 3 non-negotiable, and then each day you work on at least hitting those 3 targets. And then if you can do more, great. But as long as you hit those top 3, you are doing something to improve yourself. Now, my top 3 are to hit my fiber and my protein goal, to walk 10,000 steps, and to drink between 3/4 and a gallon of water a day. And when I do those 3 things consistently, I feel amazing. But you need to make your own top 3. Maybe you need to prioritize losing some weight so you can get into a healthy weight range. Maybe you need to work on eating whole food so that you can get your blood work looking better. Maybe you need to prioritize sleep. Whatever it is, make a list and pick those top 3 non-negotiables that you hit every day consistently. Which leads me to tip number 7, which is consistency. You will not get anywhere with goals if you are not consistent. It's not about what you do on a random Tuesday, but what you did the rest of the week. So your family decides to go out spontaneously and have ice cream. That's okay. Go out with them, have ice cream, and then get right back on track. It's what you do the other 6 days of the week. It's what you do 80% of your time. So in a month, how many days were you consistent? Because if you pick goals, like your 3 goals that you want to meet every day, and you consistently meet those almost every day of the week, at the end of the month, you will see change. So often we set all these goals, we get overwhelmed, and then we fall off the wagon. And then we get back on the wagon again and we fall off again. And the end of the month comes and we say, I didn't lose a single pound. Nothing changed. Well, if you look back honestly and see that you weren't actually consistent at all, that's your answer. So you really do need to maintain consistency to see any real change, and it needs to be long term. And my tip number 8, my last tip, is to make sure you have other women in your life that you can talk to about all the changes you're going through. And this does not mean that you have to have a ton of friends in real life. There are plenty of resources online now, and it's great because the whole topic itself of menopause and perimenopause and midlife is no longer taboo, and there's a lot of conversation around it. So there's Facebook groups, there's Instagram pages, there's a lot of resources online, there's YouTube, and you can find people that are going through the same things that you're going through and have those discussions, because it's nice to know that you're not alone when you're going through all of these things. And make sure that you have a medical provider that is listening to you and understanding you and not shutting you down. I highly recommend logging into the Menopause Society if you are looking for a new doctor or nurse practitioner. They do have a list, and you can go through and see which ones might be a good fit for you and call. But do not settle for a doctor who does not listen to you, because you deserve more than that. And just keep trying until you find the right person. I would love to discuss more with you in the comments. If you have any questions, thoughts, ideas for other videos that revolve around midlife, I am open to making videos about that. I really enjoy the topic because you know what? It's the life I'm living. So I am so glad that I made this video. I hope we can continue the discussion in the comments, and I hope you consider subscribing and coming back for more.